Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Brighter Podcast. My name's BatSheva,
And my name is Chelsea.
and my life is so much brighter thanks to Chelsea.
And my life is infinitely brighter thanks to BatSheva.
Chelsea and I love coming on this podcast to share the tools, the techniques, and the stories, the life experiences that we have that have helped us, that have made our lives brighter, hoping that our recounting and exploration of these tools will also help your life become brighter. And today we have a very interesting topic to get into, one that I personally relate very deeply to. But before we jump, let's go ahead and land in this space together through and with our breath. So, why don't we all just relax, settle into your body. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, go ahead and close them. And let's all take a nice deep breath in through the nose together, breathing in calming, quieting energy. Letting it out through the mouth, letting anything that's ready to go, go. Taking in another calming, quieting breath through your nose. And then breathing it out with a sigh, letting everything ready to go, go. Third breath together. Let's breathe in through our nose, calming, quieting energy. And breathe out. Anything ready to go, let it go. Welcome, welcome. Well, again, we are here in Columbia, Missouri together. For those of you who are watching our YouTube, you are treated to the beauty and the gorgeousness that is Soul Sisters, Chelsea and BatSheva, in the actual same location. And we are appreciating this time together. Today's episode is called Comfort at What Cost? I'm wondering, do you feel like you are comfortable most of the time?
Mm, I think that I kind of sway in and out, that there are some things that I really love to be comfortable, and that maybe now that I'm even considering them,
Like what?
like my day-to-day life, uh, I feel that. Well, for instance, I run two Airbnbs, as you know, and there was a time where I was doing everything for the Airbnbs, cleaning them, managing them, all of it. And I actually feel like I was energetically blocking bookings because I didn't want to clean them. And so yeah, so I kind of think about that like with my life currently, with thinking about taking on more clients, with thinking about more Soulscription Cacao subscribers and how many more mailings that would be. And I'm like, oh, like, is there something like actually inside energetically that is like, I'm comfortable where I am. I enjoy my daily routine. If you add those other things, if there's more like, maybe the story beneath it is that with more success with becomes there's more responsibility and there's more requirements, and so thinking about that, like, potentially I could be blocking some of my biggest desires because of comfort, and thinking about that maybe having them would bring me discomfort.
Mind blown. That was cool to hear because I had been thinking about it in another way, which it's all related to the topic. Myself lately, I'm just aching and yearning for calm, security, comfort, steady life. And life is never fucking steady and calm and comfortable,
It,
even when we want it to be. What were you going to
it's just
say?
so funny to hear you say that because I hear you like Obviously we share everything, and whenever you
Uh-huh.
share some things and like your life is that calm and comforting, it's like you're like, okay, what am I going to sign up for? How am I going to fill
True.
this time slot?
True.
How am I going
I'm
to really
uncomfortable having not new things and engagement. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable when things are status quo. I'm not comfortable if things aren't moving. That's very true. And this summer, I feel like a lot of things are kind of sleepy in my life. Like, where's my new relationship? Where's my new friendship? Where's my new creative project? Nowhere. And that doesn't make me feel comfortable. But at the same time, I'm so worried that a child is going to get hurt at camp or that I'm going to have a bad travel situation coming to visit you or my mom or and because of those just deep desires for the familiar, which I'm also, switching out with the word comfortable. So I've been yeah, so when I want the familiar and I want the safe. Of course, I'm human. I'm not apologizing for that and I can forgive myself for that. But I can also identify the fact that I'm striving for the unattainable. And like you said in the beginning, it's what doesn't help me. How am I growing through things staying steady and safe and in a bubble, which is impossible to keep anything in a bubble. Like, at what cost am I trying to
It's just
hold
an
on to a bubble?
illusion that
Yeah.
we are controlling or that we have this safety or this comfort. I mean, in a way, an illusion. I guess you can feel the comfort, but how
No, it's not.
comfortable can you feel in the
I didn't
discomfort?
even feel real comfort, which is why I came here and I bawled my eyes out to you because it was like, oh, just repress it all. So I feel really comfortable. It wasn't fucking comfortable. It was false comfort in my case,
Mm.
false comfort. I don't know. And I know a lot of people, honestly, um, who get very anxious the minute things are not as they hoped or wanted or expected. And I definitely learned that as a child, just like people
Mm.
modeled that for me growing up, this big anxiety when things wouldn't go the way that we wanted or expected things to go. And I'm still growing and looking for tools that will help me feel less comfortable. And actually, I mean, even the Kabbalah Center, one of the many, many things that drew me to that community and those teachings was that over and over they kept saying, you have to be really uncomfortable in order to grow. You have to be really uncomfortable in order to grow. If you're not comfortable, that's a good sign. You can be happy about that. It's like a detox, It's like that's how you know that you're
Ooh, that
growing.
reminds me of the spooky whenever you were like, oh, these like headaches or whatever it was, the
Right.
different symptoms. And I was like, oh, the detox is working.
Yeah, the spooky is this remote, like sort of electronic detox
Oh.
machine that detoxed me.
Well, you think about a butterfly coming out of the cocoon, out of the chrysalis, and it's like struggling and struggling and struggling, but it takes that struggle to get all the goop off of the wings and for the wings to have enough strength to actually be able to fly and be the butterfly. You have to have the discomfort. And what I think that what we've both kind of been going for is to look at it like, oh, what's gonna come after this? I can't wait to see what's on the other side of this discomfort, because oftentimes the more uncomfortable it is, the bigger the reward or the bigger the transformation or expansion that comes afterwards. And so looking at it, and whenever you're in the shit and like the muck of it, instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to be here, like how do I get out of this? You're in the pain, and what do you want to do? You want to pop the pain pill, you want to drink the alcohol, you want to buy a bunch of shit online, and what do they call that, retail therapy. It's
Mm.
like how numbing or suppressing or trying to get over the feeling, instead of and then and but maybe looking at it like, oh wow, like this is really fucking uncomfortable, I can't wait to see what's on the other side of this for me. And it reminds me of the cold
I was
plunge.
just gonna say the cold plunge. I was literally just in my
Because
head
as
like
you're
cold
sitting in it,
plunge.
you're like, oh, I think maybe today I'm gonna get out early. I'm not gonna go the full time. I'm gonna get out a little early today. Like it's much colder than what it normally is, or in the winter time whenever it's really
Oh,
cold. And then, but if you make it to the end, to
you feel
like,
so good,
and then you
right?
get out, it's just like the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of like not only, I mean, the feeling of accomplishment, but like what your body feels from it. So.
I mean, I barely lasted like 30 seconds and my body
No,
felt
you were like almost a minute.
okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. I hope that's true. And I felt so good after that I was upset I hadn't stayed longer because I thought how much more good would I have feel now. And I will have one last chance tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. But it is totally the cold plunge metaphor because as someone who was brand new to the cold plunge, I was immediately aware after, the first few seconds of pain. Oh, my foot hurts, my this hurts, so I need to get out. And I wound up getting out. First I think I yelped a few times and then I got out. And
I think you laughed. I
I
don't even think it
did.
was yelping. I was thinking, but actually, even thinking about you're getting ready to go to BatSheva's gonna go back to her second 10-day silent meditation retreat once she returns to LA. And sitting through that, think of all the discomfort that was there, and you're sitting there in silence, and it's like, oh, my foot hurts, oh, my knees hurt, oh, my back hurts, oh,
Mm,
what is going on, what's for lunch, I'm hungry, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm that person's sniffling, this, that, it's all the things being brought up. And it's
that's
the meditation,
yes.
sitting through the meditation and bringing yourself back each time is the exercise. It's the
It's the
mental
mental gym.
gym, and that's what the cold plunge is for me.
Oh, totally. And it is
I mean, it is physical too, but the meditation is physical too.
and by
It's
the way,
both.
meditation is physical and even the breathwork session that Chelsea, oh my God, brought me through when I did her new moon. She has usually in person, but sometimes I think for the new moon,
The new
sometimes we
moon
did
is
the Zoom.
virtual
Yeah.
via Zoom. If you
She
would
leads
ever
a
want
new
to
moon
join a
circle.
somatic breathwork session on the new moon with journaling and all sorts of things, that's available, soulscription.life. And on the full moon, we do it in person here in Columbia, Missouri. So if you are a local Columbian or find yourself driving through on the full moon, you're welcome to join. Love to have you in the
Oh my
space.
God, I wish I could have that experience because I mean, just the Zoom experience was transcendental. I may have mentioned it on a prior episode, but I'm going to mention it again. And what was beautiful about the exquisite torture physically that I experienced was that I had the experience of previously, maybe a year or two or several years ago. Chelsea had done a breathwork session with me and I hadn't enjoyed it. And this time around, I started again to feel these very uncomfortable, you could even use the word painful physical sensations, very unfamiliar. Let's definitely start with that word, uncomfortable. And this time I used my brain to tell myself, this is good, this is positive. Chelsea wouldn't be doing this if this weren't healthy. I believe and I trust Chelsea. So I will continue to lean into that instead of wanting to jump out like I jumped out of the cold plunge. And what that gifted me with was another realm of awareness. It was a transcendental awareness that I achieved for a long period of time, for the whole long, maybe half an hour breathwork session. I was almost in a transcendental state the whole time. And I had amazing epiphanies and I had amazing amounts of self love and courage and mantras coming to me. You do not owe anyone anything, and just knowing it in my bones. And um, that was all thanks to that initial release of needing to be comfortable. And yet, back in real life, with any meditation, people may experience oneness with God, and then they go on to like all kinds of. I was sharing with Chelsea like the book that Elizabeth Gilbert wrote. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and I was very inspired by that. And one of the things that she describes was having that oneness during meditation. And I've always strived for that and hoped for that. And I have not had that exact experience sitting quietly in a meditation, even though I've done it 11 hours a day for 10 days at a time and I'm about to go back. So I got a lot out of it, but I didn't get that experience exactly what I was thinking or hoping it should be. But then when you read her most recent book, which I think it's called All the Way to the River, and she talks about how she basically enabled her girlfriend full-blown heroin addiction, drug addiction, love addiction. I mean, she's candid and it's excruciatingly painful to read about. But it's a great book. I recommend it. But it's to read about what she goes through. And I thought, oh, okay, so you can have this experience in meditation and you can still have kind of a fucked up life. You're not
Before
a
enlightenment,
guru.
chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop
Chop
wood,
wood,
carry
carry
water.
water.
It like just because we're there doesn't mean.
We're still human.
Yeah, we came here for the human experience. And the human experience, as much as society and this culture that we live in is wanting to kind of lead us to believe that only happy thoughts or only enjoyable experiences, only pleasurable things are like desired, it actually the human experience and being human is feeling the entire rainbow of emotions and feelings and experiencing all of it.
And I
And
mean,
discomfort and pain are in those things
and
because without them, what is joy? What is happiness? What is bliss? What is pleasure?
exactly. I mean, the duality. And I was thinking again of using substances, alcohol, drugs, and how when we do it, I mean, I can't speak for all of you, but I can speak for myself. When I've used those substances and when I do use them to numb out, it's to feel comfortable. And then the question, at what cost is that comfort? And I think,
And if I may, if I think about myself, the next day I kind of paid for it a lot
right,
of the
that was the
times.
cost. Fair.
Yeah,
There
it's
was
like,
a
oh, there
cost.
is a way out of, like, oh, well, I felt really awesome. And not to say that it's always, but there's usually somewhat of a pendulum
Yeah.
of, just like saying like, oh, I'm experiencing this discomfort, not from a substance, but just from the life experience and what's on the other side. How great is it going to be? And
This
almost expecting that. Like, can we expect the greatness in the discomfort?
And that's where the friend comes in and or the little sticky notes where hopefully you're writing your mantras around your house or you have your note card because in the moment it's just we forget that there'll be another side. They will be a
Right.
shore, another shore.
And also not to bypass where you're at. Like
That's what I
not to try
mean.
and get
Yeah.
through the hard thing, but to just like sit there and be like, wow, this is fucking painful.
Mm-hmm.
How can I feel this pain with every single ounce of my body and not leave my body, not dissociate, not run away, not suppress it? Can I feel this? How long can I feel it for? Or
And
maybe it's the discomfort that you do want to get away from. That you're like in this like abusive relationship or something and you're like,
you just
wow,
take
I've
action.
stayed for so long because I was scared of what the unknown might be because scared of that discomfort and instead have endured the other discomfort the act like that's being inflicted. So yeah, comfort at what cost? There's so many different ways to look at it. Are you staying in something that you don't really want to be in? Or because I mean, you can kind of maybe speak to that.
Yeah, I wanted a certain security. Again, you can exchange maybe the word like familiarity, security with comfort. For me, that was like a warm blanket, the security of being in a marriage and with a person who I felt was my best friend. Never mind that we really had already been with a lot of strain in our relationship for quite a long time. And even if you don't even look at the relationship, if I look at how I was feeling, I was so low. I was at such a low point for so long. And I think it's really good advice that people give someone in a relationship who feels that way to not necessarily just run right away. Like, first, go seek the type of help, therapy, self help, meditation, workbooks, walk, coaching, with others and by yourself, with your divine. Or if you don't have a divine, any relationship with a higher power, start to cultivate that. Just like a muscle, it can grow from almost nothing to quite robust and supportive of you for the rest of your life, like a muscle, a relationship with the divine,
Yeah.
and that comfort um, that that I used to seek and need from the relationship. If that relationship's no longer there, it comes in other ways, and the muscle that was atrophied starts to have to work, like it or not. If we lose our food source, we go and hunt, or we go and beg, or we go and
Gather.
do gather.
Yeah.
And um, in the moment, it's like the shock of the cold plunge. It's like the shock of the breath work. It's like, you know, the shock of an actual injury, which I would never wish upon myself or anyone. But as any one of us knows, if we're still alive and kicking, we healed, or we figured out a new pathway forward, and we can look back and see silver linings with even some of the toughest challenges, if not all of the toughest challenges we were put through and others were put through. And that's the other shore, that's the other side.
I think that something that was just coming to me is really on my journey of discomfort and getting to know myself more has been really diving into what does my nervous system do whenever I experience discomfort? And, you know, thinking back to, okay, whenever I was younger, did I experience anything? And then from that, either I ran, like flight, or I froze and wasn't able to move at all or say anything or do anything, freeze. Or I think fawning is very like similar, but yeah, like what is the default response? Like what does your nervous system, what does my nervous system normally do whenever I experience discomfort? And what is my threshold for the discomfort? Thinking about the cold plunge, obviously, it's important to know how long to stay in is safe and is for optimum
Mm,
benefit versus, I mean, we're not going to sit in the cold plunge for 24 hours. You're not going to sit in there for an hour. Like, there's no benefit to that. It actually, as with anything, in my opinion, too much of it is harmful. Just like once you have too much of any vitamin,
mm,
certain levels are appropriate for optimum health. But once you tip the threshold, then everything comes out of balance. And so thinking about, okay, where is my comfort or pain threshold? And how do I titrate that and stay within my limits, or maybe press my limit a little bit in order to grow and expand, but not to push myself or throw myself into a state of dissociation or a state of panic, of trauma. Like, how, am I traumatizing myself by making myself stay? All
and,
these different, and everyone's different. There's no one, in my opinion, there's no one right answer. There's no like, oh, this is the amount of time. I mean, of course, with the cold plunge, they have the amount of time that they say is optimal for you to experience the benefits. But also, just as we know in our
everyone's
8 body
different.
types, I'm sure that there are some people that cold plunge is not beneficial for,
Or not yet.
or
Like
like a certain
maybe,
time of your cycle.
oh yeah.
Or, it's just like really getting to know yourself on a level, and then really tuning into one, like, what is this discomfort? Is it helping me or hindering me? And how do I approach it? Do I stay? And this comes with like developing the relationship with yourself, with the divine, with higher source, of what is right for me, because really we're the only ones that know what's right for ourselves. You can't look to other people, which I've spent my entire life wanting someone to tell me because I was such a good girl and always listening and wanting to be the best student, the best daughter. And now it's like figuring out that no one else has the answer of what I should do with my life or who I should be or what the path is. I have to feel into it myself.
Exactly. And I think like that's the best advice we keep giving ourselves and other people lately as we learn more about somatic knowing and being in touch with what our own nervous system feels like, which is exactly what you were just
Mm-hmm.
speaking to. Um, that's the work that we're doing now more than like journaling. Like we're doing our
But it's those
techniques
techniques to
that
discover
help you know
the
what you're,
threshold.
yeah, that
Yeah.
do help you know yourself and know yourself deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And so those techniques are important and we do use them. Maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking them for granted because they're already really part and parcel of the fabric of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
deeply.
Meditation. Exactly, because we use these techniques, meditation or singing or dancing or somatic movement, Tai Chi, journaling. I mean, so many ways that we find our way to joy and then also can listen and feel into ourselves what our response is, whether or not we feel comfortable. And I was just thinking too, there's kind of this paradox inherent in the word comfortable because, in a way, what is not okay is for someone to tell me that I'm going to be healing if I'm uncomfortable. So go do that. That's uncomfortable. And then when I was younger, especially, or like when I was a new student at the Kabbalah Center, eager to do all the things and be the best student, I would go volunteer all the time because it's uncomfortable. And I would, I would get high off of that feeling. And I would feel like, oh, I am growing and it is hard. But also there was like a very subtle but not good situation happening where I was beginning to stop listening to my very deepest inner voice. I was listening to the people outside of me telling me that it was good for me to do these things. Sometimes what is good for us is to not do the thing everyone's hoping and expecting us to go do. And like maybe I would be the perfect fit for this role. So everyone wants me to do that. But I choose not to do that because I am listening to my inner knowing. And I know that my place is in my bedroom, asleep in a nap. That sometimes is quite comfortable. And it's also the right thing to do for my own personal growth. And the only way to know that and differentiate that is through experience, is through trial and error, and through trusting that when we listen to ourselves and follow our inner guidance, we're doing the right thing, no matter what.
And trusting, I also would add to it, and trusting that what is meant for us will not pass us by, that we are, everything is working out for us. And it's in our own perfect timing. Maybe not in the timing that we wish, maybe not in the timing that we desire, but everything is working out and we just can't see the full picture.
That could be a good place to end this episode on.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much more to say, but we'll come back.
We'll be back for
We'll be
this
back.
one. Yeah.
We'll circle back.
Circle back to the discomfort. What
Exactly.
we're Don't worry, you'll get to hear many more times that we experience discomfort.
Yes, yes, like every other minute. And that's good. That's the point,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, we would love to go on, but instead we'll go ahead and pivot to our daily W for this episode. I will share a win and a wow, and then Chelsea will share a wish, and those are our daily W's. Okay, so my win number one is that I got in the cold plunge and I did a qigong warm up that I've never, or a qigong form that I've never done before because Chelsea was modeling it for me, and I am bragging that I did those things, and it was amazing. I'm still proud even that I didn't stay so long in the cold plunge. Yeah, that's my win number one. And my wow number one is I'm really grateful that I still have today. I have to leave tomorrow, but I'm really grateful that I have today. And this time in Missouri, I'm so grateful for it. And it's the weather and the hospitality. Chelsea and her husband, 5-star review. That's my wow.
Oh, and my wish is I'm wishing for flow and grace and fun and magic for this last, say, like last 23 hours that we have together. Or we actually have a little bit longer than that, but we'll be in the car in 23 hours driving to the airport. So for this remainder of our time together, all the way up until you get out of the car, I'm wishing for miracles, magic, fun, connection, and divine flow and grace.
Amen.
Yay.
I upride that wish. It is so.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Episode 53. We love
Woo.
having you with us, Brighter Bees. Make sure to share the episode if you think you know somebody who hasn't listened to our podcast yet, but they might like it. Please share because that's how we're getting the word out one at a time. And we're so appreciative of you.
And yeah,
Like, subscribe, all the normal awesome things, and come back for more. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more beautiful topics to share and discuss, and hopefully make your life brighter.
thank you.
Wonderful day.